Hey, how's it going guys? Nate here, and today the Battlefield 1 open beta dropped, available across all current gen platforms except the Wii U. And despite EA servers that appear to be hosted within a goddamn McDonald's or something, I was still fortunately able to connect and play for quite a few hours over the past couple of days. And I wanted to go over the experience that I've had with this game so far, and describe what I feel like I'm playing with Battlefield 1, because I am quite surprised with this game, to say the least. And while I do remain a bit hesitant to make any sort of surefire recommendations regarding pre-ordering this game or not, as I really still just began with it myself as well, you know? This is what this beta is for. It's for people to get on, play this game, get inside of that little honeymoon phase where we've played it just long enough to want to play more, but not long enough to give us time to notice all of this game's faults. And EA is both incredibly genius for this, and oh my god do I hate them too. But with that out of the way, without further ado, let's do further. Starting off with the game, the first thing I tried out, my most immediate instinct was to get on top of a horse, and oh my god, is this not the most entertaining thing in the world once you get the hang of it. Charging into a battle that's dictated by guns and tanks and bombs, it's absolutely hilarious to whip out a saber on top of a horse and still kick ass. Of course, tanks and planes are still present, and just as, if not more so capable than ever before. I personally really enjoyed the air combat and the dogfighting in this variant of the game, much more than I did in Battlefield 4. I also saw an enormous amount of success just messing around with the land ship for a while, as I was able to mow down pretty much anyone that came near me, and my opponents wouldn't get close enough to grenade me most of the time, so long as I stayed relatively close nearby teammates and infantry. So at least from my observation, vehicular combat is definitely at a very good place and an improvement upon previous Battlefield entries. Now, I do want to make it clear, it's not that vehicles are overpowered in my opinion, or anything like that. It's that there's a higher skill ceiling, but you can do a hell of a lot more with these vehicles once you master them, you know? If you're going to be riding around on a horse, you're going to want to have to know how to use it right, you know? Stick to open areas where you can do some work with your saber and your rifle. If you want to be in a tank, stay near your infantrymen. And if you're a pilot, then God help you. But you can do some pretty serious damage if you know what you're doing. However, it's very difficult to get to that level, and I really do appreciate that in a game. Furthermore, continuing on with the experience, I will say that I'm not a huge fan of the current Sinai Desert map. While it's large, it's not very dense, particularly toward what I believe it's the E flag. A good 1/4 to 1/3 of the map is just flat nothingness but desert to run across. Now, I will admit, the sandstorms were quite a cool effect, especially if you're trying to pilot a plane and win a dogfight. Expect you to have your visibility significantly lowered, and if you're a sniper, just stop, it's not happening. Going on to infantry gameplay, it seems as though the medic class is effectively now useless, as players spawn in significantly faster than before, and even if they want a revive, they need to request it first. And personally, I think I've only requested a revive like maybe once or twice. And I specifically recall in one of those instances, I knew there was a medic next to me, and I requested the revive, but he was probably just so dumbstruck that somebody actually needed his help, that by the time he got to me and got his syringe out, I had already died anyway. So I do recommend you avoid the medic class for now. The rifles do appear to also be a little bit underpowered, and the perk's just not really going to be one that you're going to find yourself using that often. Moving on to your mini-map, another key facet of Battlefield infantry and gameplay as a whole that has been significantly revamped, in my opinion, for the better. Now, in order to appear on the minimap, you can't just shoot, you also have to be spotted, which results in significantly less red dots than ever before, making it less dependable and no longer allowing us to just have the minimap tell us exactly where to go all the time. You can't just stare at it throughout the entire game anymore, yet we can still get a general direction of where the action is, and I think this was definitely for the better. Overall, I think Battlefield 1 is a net solid improvement over Battlefield 4, and that's the important thing in a sequel. My biggest criticisms remain the Sinai Desert map and just how it's out of my preference, and the current server issues, both of which likely will be resolved. There's going to be dozens of maps within the game, and I'd imagine EA will be able to fix their servers by launch, but I mean, it's still EA. But overall, I am excited about this game. I do think it looks pretty cool, and I'm excited to purchase it for myself, but don't let my recommendations fool you. This is still early on with the game, and I haven't had a lot of time to really dissect what I dislike about it too much, but I still hope you enjoyed this review / initial impressions video. If you did, please feel free to leave a like, dislike if you did not, and I hope to see you all in my next video. Peace out, everybody.